I became the Real Madrid manager with one goal: win the treble. We've had late winners, a Madrid derby win, and then even more late winners. But at the end of last episode, bids came in for Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr., two of our most important attackers. Some of you said Vinny is the problem. Too many egos, too much money to refuse. Others said I should keep Vinny because he scores important goals for us. Rodrigo, on the other hand, hasn't been doing that. So I negotiated with Spurs and ended up selling Rodrigo for around 128 million euros, while rejecting Chelsea's bid for Vinicius. In the Cup, I rotated the starting 11 to give the youth a chance. But disaster struck early as Endrick picked up an injury. Arda Güler stepped up and converted his penalty. Before halftime, Pantoja made it 2 in stoppage time. And then Arda stepped up again to score another penalty and make it 3-0. To replace Rodrigo, I wanted to go closer to home. We had an 11 million euro buyback clause for Nico Paz, and I triggered it. Liverpool then came in with a bid for Ferland Mendy. After negotiations, I sold him for 14.25 million euros. So yes, both Rodrigo and Mendy were gone. Next up was the Supercopa semi-final against Barcelona. But just 6 minutes in, Tchouaméni made a reckless tackle and was sent off. From that point on, we were always going to struggle. With a man advantage, Barcelona capitalized. And just like that, we were out of the Supercopa. In La Liga, we conceded 3 goals to Villarreal, but thankfully scored 3 ourselves to keep our unbeaten run alive. Gonzalo then scored a hat-trick against Tarragona in the Cup, as we cruised to a comfortable 3-0 win. With Courtois' contract expiring in the summer, I decided to extend it by another 2 years. Hopefully we'd have won the treble by then, or so I thought. Aston Villa and Atalanta both submitted 88 million euro bids for Arda Güler. But if I was going to sell him, I wanted more than that, money they weren't willing to pay. Against Mallorca, Vinicius scored early on. Then Nico Paz scored his first goal since returning to the club. Mbappe wrapped things up in the second half to secure a 3-0 win, opening an 11-point gap to Atletico. In the Champions League against Nice, Dani Ceballos and Fede Valverde scored the goals that essentially secured our place in the top 8. Against Valencia, Vinicius had an early goal ruled out for offside. Mbappe converted a penalty before Tchouaméni picked up a lengthy injury. Arda Güler then wrapped things up before Valencia scored a consolation goal. Against Espanyol, Vinicius scored not once, not twice, but 3 times. Unfortunately, Valverde picked up an injury with 10 minutes to go, ruining what should have been a flawless win. He'd be out for 3 weeks. I won Manager of the Month for January, and Mbappe won Player of the Month. Then came the Copa del Rey quarterfinal against Athletic Bilbao. They scored just before halftime. We responded quickly, but our goal was ruled offside. The same thing happened to Brahim in the second half. No matter what we tried, it didn't work. We were knocked out of the Copa del Rey. And just like that, our treble dreams were over. We bounced back in the league. Mbappe scored a hat-trick against Levante, and we followed that with a strong win over Real Sociedad. Then came another El Clasico, this time at the Bernabeu. After just 84 seconds, Bellingham scored a screamer to open the scoring. Gavi equalized just before halftime. 5 minutes into the second half, Brahim scored. Late on, he won a penalty, and Arda Güler buried it. A 3-1 win over Barcelona, sending us 19 points clear at the top. Worryingly, we then dropped points to bottom-placed Alaves. Despite that, I still won Manager of the Month for February. I promoted Castillo and Tejerina from the youth team, while Fernandez Leonardo was also signed from our intake. Against Rayo Vallecano, Mbappe missed a penalty, but scored the rebound. Vinicius made it 2. Then in the second half, he scored a stunning goal and completed his hat-trick just 13 minutes later. Then came Galatasaray in the Champions League round of 16. They scored first. Vinicius equalized. This was the last time things felt normal. Galatasaray scored again before halftime. Then just 90 seconds into the second half, Vinicius picked up an injury, arguably our most important player. I tried everything, but we couldn't come back. Vinny's injury turned out to be a stubbed toe, ruling him out of the second leg. I rotated in the league, but we lost to Athletic Bilbao, our first league defeat of the season. In the second leg, I played Bellingham as a false 9. It was working. We overloaded the midfield. Bellingham was making great runs. We looked like the better team, but right before halftime, he picked up a knock. I had to take him off, bring Gonzalo on, and abandon a system that was working. Galatasaray scored to make it 3-1. I switched to a 3-1-1-5 formation, went all-out attack, and it worked. Valverde scored. But instead of going back to a 4-3-3, I stuck with the front five. That mistake cost us. Osimhen scored to make it 4-2. And then he scored an identical goal 5 minutes later. Mbappe pulled one back with 20 minutes to go, but it was over. We were out of the Champions League in the round of 16. Not good enough for a club of this stature. Out of the Copa del Rey, out of the Champions League, and no longer invincible in the league. Managing Real Madrid is harder than it seems.